welcome to Jimbobs Painting Joy. Today I've prepared a canvas here. I'm thinking about doing a soft little woodland view, maybe even a little bit of a stream or a waterfall or something in here. And I'm going to stick to the greeny yellow tones. I've taken some black gesso acrylic and just stained this design in of these up front trees, and then over the top of that I've put a little bit of liquid clear or linseed oil as I've used, and then on top of that I've put a little bit of mixture of sap green, phthalo blue and Van Dyke brown just to dull it a little bit. And in the sky here I've just used some titanium white and linseed oil mix, or liquid white if you will. And I'm going to start today by taking a 1-inch brush and a little bit of cadmium yellow and a little bit of titanium white. Just a little bit of cadmium yellow, mostly titanium white. I just want a soft background yellow in here. Maybe this is some morning in spring and the sun's just coming through the trees. So I've got a little bit of yellow and white on my brush there. And I'm going to start up here in the corner of the canvas. Ooh, yeah, just want a soft glow. And be careful I don't drag this brush too far into the trees, because remember we've got that green there and I don't want to take that back into the sky. I want to try and preserve this yellow, a little bit more cadmium yellow. Work that into the canvas. Again, I'm just looking for a soft sky. I don't want anything too intense today. Little X's is the stroke that I'm making with the brush, small X's. And I'm literally just blending that out to a lovely softness. And you know what we'll do? I've learned from trying to make a happy pound off some of these pictures that people tend to like to have the outside of the canvas filled in too. So being as this is the light area, before our brush gets too contaminated, I'll take a little bit more of that white and yellow mix and I'll just paint in the sides of the canvas. A little bit more cadmium yellow. Let's get that popping out. And remember, even though we're working with a light colour, we're still going to keep it reasonably dark in the corners. So we're still the most yellow there in the corner. Picked up a little bit of yellow ochre there, but that doesn't matter. That's okay. That'll blend in nicely. And that'll give us some variation in the tone. And I think that's what's referred to as a happy little accident. Now then, back with the cadmium yellow and the titanium white, and we'll come here at the top and just fill that in again. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. And while we've got this exact tone on, I just need to unclamp the top of the canvas very quickly. There we are. Just so that I can get to those hard to reach spots. A little bit more of that yellow on the brush. And we're just literally just filling that in on the top there. Oh, that's nice. That's really nice. And that's about the only place we're going to have that naked sky. You can come over this tree a little bit when you're painting the front here. Shave the edges off if you will, because it'll make it look like it's been misted out, misted back into the background. You can even come with this titanium white mixture and just add a little bit more here in the foreground, just to give us the impression of a little bit of mist here in the woods. And then in a moment or two we'll come back over and add some more things into the foreground just to detail over that. I think that's about enough. I don't want to overwork this. A little bit of yellow in there perhaps, but other than that, remember those little X's, keep those strokes nice and uniform. Oh, fantastic. Now we've got some light spots to deal with. Really already looks like there's a lot of light just zinging through. And don't do what I just did and come back up into your nice yellow with your contaminated brush, or you'll then have to work like a son of a gun to blend that back out again. Okay, and that's kind of the underpainting for what we're going to do, and we're all kind of ready to go now. First thing I want to do is make a little background colour for some of these trees. So, without cleaning my brush, I'm going to go straight into a little bit of the sap green, followed by some of the black, some Van Dyke brown and a touch of blue. And I'm going to just start a little pile here. And I just want this colour to be nice and dark. I might even get a touch of red in there as well. Just all the colours. Let's link them all in. And that should just give me a lovely soft background colour for the trees there. Okay. And come back in over the top of this faded section and just, not much detail, just some illusions and indications of some foliage just hanging out over there. Take your time with this. And like I said in one of my previous episodes, it really helps to go and find places like this and go and have a sit down out in the woods, look around and try and find out what happens in real life. That's the dog coming through the door to check on whether it's time for WALKs yet. We can't say the word or he'll go crazy. After this episode, Droogie, and with this method it doesn't take but a moment, we'll be done here in half an hour. And you can see there, just got the indication of some lovely foliage. See these strokes. And just tap that in. And if we tap hard, it'll leave a little bit of a misty base, so we still retain a little bit of that light colour. Now, I'm going to leave this one as it is, so that it gets a bit further pushed back. And I'm going to just bring another one in, leaving a little bit of that background again. And it just, it helps to add some dimension. Let's get a bit brave here. Let's get a little background tree. Now this is done by applying no pressure at all. No pressure at all. Just to give the illusion of a little bit of background foliage. Just as easy as that. Easy as that. Fantastic. I like that. Okay, I'm going to set the 1-inch brush down. I'm going to go to a liner brush. I just want to put some indications of where the tree trunks are going to live. So I'm going to take some linseed oil, run it through some of that white and yellow mix I had from earlier on that I did the sky with. But then I'm going to drag it through a little bit more linseed oil. Then I'm going to drag it through the Van Dyke brown. And of course, because dark brown is the overpowering dark colour there, that yellow will be absorbed, but it's still implied in the mixture to help link the sky and the trees together. Some people start from the bottom or the top with these trees. It doesn't really matter. If you start from the top, just apply more pressure as you come down and try and keep them kinks in it. These trees, they don't grow straight. We don't grow straight. Neither do trees. We grow wiggledy. And we make mistakes. That's why this technique's so good and so forgiving. It's hard to make a mistake. It's hard to get so cornered that you can't think of anything to do with this. There's always a way. As my nan used to say, where there's a will, there's a way. Okay, not too many. Just the illusions of a few branches in there. We've got ourselves a nice little tree trunk there. And I'm going to maybe just illusions and indications of a few further in the background. Nothing too heavy, not too many. Then I want to go and get a slightly darker colour. Same brush, same script liner, but some here further back in the dark. I'm going to make that pop out nicely. And you already get this contrast between dark and light going on, which all helps to play into the illusion of what's further forward and what's further back. But again, I'm not going to put too much in, not too much, just indications. Looks like all kinds of deep forest things just dripping down there. Oh, nice. Maybe we can bring a few out. Just help to push that back a little bit. Just a few, not too many. But people really like that stuff that drags over and comes out over the light area. Pay a bit extra for that, if I'm honest. Trust me, they will. Nice, nice. I'm going to leave it at that. In fact, I'm going to darken up the trunks of this one just a touch on this side. Today, I've decided, and you've got to make these decisions, I've decided that the light's going to be coming from this area. Okay, that's enough for the liner brush. We'll set that down. Into our paint thinner. Paint thinner. And I'll come back and take the 1-inch brush, give it a clean, give it a little bit of a refresh. Now we can't beat the devil out of it here because, well, we're at Mom's place. so we don't want to redecorate this lovely work shed. But when we come with some of the later episodes that'll be filmed at my new house, wow, we'll have a brush beater rack set up so we can beat the devil out of it. Now back to the palette. Now I want to take the 1-inch brush through some yellows, and I'm tapping quite hard. I'm using that a little bit of dirt on that brush still, but as soon as we come into the yellow, see how it makes that wonderful green colour. Ooh, and I'm pushing and getting that little ridge of paint on the edge there. Okay, and we're gonna be varying this up through the ochre, maybe touches of red as we go along. But for now, let's just pick out some lovely highlights on this tree. Oh. And just pick out, do them one clump at a time. Don't get greedy with them. A bit at a time. No, not too many. And the further they get towards that corner, of course, the darker they're going to get again, because they're getting away. They're getting away. A little bit of the yellow ochre, varying it up a little bit. Oh. And it's so soft, this. It's almost no pressure. Just give a little land lay there, little indication for where the land's going to lay. And just drag that down a little bit. And then we're going to come back over this side. Maybe a touch more into the yellow ochre. And just start a little bit up ahead of where your backing was. But don't kill all that dark. You need some of that to show through in order for the rest to be convincing. Otherwise, you ruin your illusion. And it just disappears on you. As you'll know if you've been practicing this technique for any time. So we've got the foreground looking nice there. We've still got this background tree though. So let's go through a little bit more of the white. Touch of red this time. Touch of red. Maybe this has got a bit of a pinkish hue to it, this background tree. And we'll just... Nice. And we'll just fire him in, leaving lots of the back visible. And there's a lovely background tree back there. Maybe it just goes right on up the top. Gorgeous tree. And that sets him nice and far back into the background. Okay, now of course he's just floating up there at the moment. We need something to link him, so I'm going to go a little bit more into the greens and just pop a few happy bushes that just stick over the top of the woods there. Nice. I'm going to go back to the liner brush just real quick, change my mind, and you can do that with this technique, you know. You can change your mind. I'm going to go back into that and I'm just going to add just a few indications. On that background tree there. And then because of course those look just a little bit too far up the front, we just dab them like that. Just mist them out, mist them away, mist them away. And now, oh, that tree just looks so far back in the woods. We'll just make that so you can see it a little bit better. Then we can add some highlights and just fill over those again. Really push them back. I don't want to give too much away here at all. And as we get into the top, we can get more into those white shades. Nice. Okay, start thinking about the foreground here. And for me, I want some cliffs. I do want some cliffs. So, take a little bit of Van Dyke brown and a little bit of black. Mostly Van Dyke brown, because obviously the black will overpower. And I'm just going to sort of pick where I want them to be and zoop. Oh, that's a tall one. And I'm just going to make these cliffs like this. and they're going to contain something. We're not sure what yet, but they're going to contain something. They're there for a reason. And bring those out a little bit towards the bottom. Lovely, scrape off the excess there. A little bit more black for this. Maybe the cliffs on this side are a lot further back. A lot further back. Lovely. And I want some highlights on them. So I'm going to come through some of this mixture of titanium white and Van Dyke brown. Get that little roll of paint on the edge of the knife there. And so gentle, so gentle. Even so very gentle. No pressure. And if you want that paint to break, this is the way to do it. Nice and gentle, no pressure. Get a little bit of blue in it for the back part of the cliff there. And that blue in the brown will give you the impression of a little bit of a shadow as the cliff goes round. Maybe get a lot of green hangy-ons coming up here, so maybe there's some green life in these too. And then also we can, whoops, we didn't want to do that, did we? Also, we can do a little bit of a land top on there. Just take note of what you've already made though. And notice that you can really pop them out. And that cliff just stands in the foreground, lovely. There will be, of course, grass that just comes straight out over the edge. Maybe if you're doing these waterfall scenes, I know that these grasses need more moisture. Let's just take a little bit of the yellow ochre and just try and cover up our little happy accident there with the brush. Perfect, you'll never know, you'd never know indeed. Okay, back to where we were. So we want some highlight on the other side. We want some highlight here. No pressure. No pressure. And straight down as well. So it really looks like a cliff. Fantastic. No pressure. Okay, cool. And if you want to add more detail in here, if it looks a bit too like the shape of the knife, you can use the small edge of the knife and come the other way. You can do that too. Maybe not so light there. Maybe not so light there. Well, you've got to try these things. And it's just giving us a bit of mist, which I'm sure will come in handy. Now then, let's take our fan brush. I think I can see a lovely waterfall in here. You guessed it, you know I love these waterfalls. You know I love the waterfalls. So let's have one. Let's have a watery fall. Let's put a touch of sap green in it as well. So I've got titanium white, phthalo blue, a touch of sap green on the fan brush. And maybe comes along here, blue. Just like that. Oh, look how that stands out. Whoa, and then switch to the side and all kinds of doers there. Fantastico. And then maybe a little upward push as this waterfall just hits and trickles around down here. Oh, fantastico. Beautiful. And maybe a little bit of an indication to where that water's coming from. Now if it were me, there'd probably be some sort of grass verge down there somewhere, so we'll make, using that same fan brush, we'll just take that through and just very gently makes the impression of a little bit of land just by the side of that waterfall. Just kind of keeping that waterfall in there. Lovely. Also, because as we've now got a waterfall, we know that there would probably be some lovely hang-me-down bits of foliage. They get a lot of water down here, so oh, they're hanging down, they're hanging down, they're hanging down. If you're having trouble getting this to stick, just add a little bit of the clear or the paint thinners. Either will do the job. I like the clear because it adds a nice glow, and the thinners will also add a little bit of a tendency to thin what you've got on in the background, and before you know it, we're too wet. But this is looking cool. Mix your greens up. Go through your yellow ochre as well as your cad. Don't use too much cad because it's very light. Those who made paintings with the cad will know. I'm actually going to get a touch of black now and just erase a little bit of that there and keep that corner dark. Lovely. We'll put a stone or something in there in a moment. Okay, now I want to put some land in down the bottom here. Let's fasten him up again. But remember those angles, because of course that grass isn't coming from nowhere, it's steeping down the hill. Maybe this is just a little bit of bush foliage that's coming out from the sides. It just hides that in there nicely. So we'll just blur out where the water and the grass meet for now. We'll come and tidy that up in a moment. And maybe this side, the land's a bit higher. A few more of these little things. A few more of them. Don't cover up all this dark. You don't even have to do as much as I'm doing now. I'm just being fancy, trying something out. Gotta try these things. Now then, just want to put a little bit of embankment on the edge there, but it's very dark up in this foreground, so we're going to stick to the blacks. The little clock on the wall tells me I'm running out of time, so we shall make haste. A little bit of highlight on them stones, and then we'll just use the fan brush and a little bit of yellow ochre just to bring them together. Just add some little grassy doers in here. Grassy doers, is that the technical term? I don't know. And maybe the other side just slips under and we don't know fully what's going on there. Maybe there's indications of a few things back there. Nice. And then with this water, final touch, go back into a little phthalo blue and white mixture. Little ridge out on the corner of the knife there, and just bob in a nice water line, and put a bit of an indication on the other side too. And if you want to blend that out and make it softer, you can take a blender brush, really fine blender brush, and just very soft, maybe even down the waterfall again, very soft back here, and just going over some of these things with the soft brush just sets them into the background a little bit and makes it look a little bit less bright. I might just, for the last touch here, use some black and some sap green and just overrun a little bit of this light grass just to add some contrast and to bring that foreground nice and close. And with that, I think we've nearly got a finished painting. A little bit more of the black. In fact, you know what? We've got a couple of minutes here. I'm going to do a couple of little doers with the liner brush now. I like doing twigs and sticks and trees that are dead because they can be quite dark up in the foreground and they can help to push the rest of the picture back. Maybe in this scene, or maybe a little bit more paint thinner. Maybe there's a tree that comes out here and goes straight up over a yellow. It may take a couple of applications just to really get him to sink in. Look at that. Nice. There's a big old tree in the foreground there. But that will serve us to just flick him out at the tops there. And it helps to be fast with these. Helps to be fast. And a little bit wiggledy as well. Maybe he's got one that comes right out over this waterfall. Just a touch. Look at that. People really do pay extra for these nice touches, and we don't want to leave this side out. Maybe on this side we'll put another one. Fantastic. And this is really great. Great fun. Okay, not too much, just a little bit of an indication. And with that, I think we're pretty much finished. I think I'm just going to take the liner brush through a little bit of this perfect red here, because we've got a few minutes left, and just give this one a signature. We didn't have a signature on the last episode. It'd be lovely if we had a signature on this episode. So, we'll have a signature, and we'll go like that. And just make our signature, which of course, when you've got a little name like mine, doesn't take but a minute. Jim. Alright, cool. So, let me take this off and give you a little look at the final result. Very nice indeed. So, there is today's woodland scene, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed painting it for you. And please join us again on Jimbobs Paint and Joy. God bless, take care.